Hey, today we are talking about Golftec. We're doing a review of my experience of using this for now, I guess, going on a little over 3 months or just about 3 months of getting lessons there. And I want to walk you through the actual app and go through some of the cool features. I want to warn you about the packages that they set up and how those actually work because I was a little confused there. And just kind of my general overall experience of being a pretty terrible golfer and trying to be not so terrible out on the links. Before we go into anything else, though, I just want to mention that there is a refer a friend option in here. So if you are thinking about getting set up, even if you don't use my link, I highly suggest you find one of these because you'll save $100 in your lessons when you use my link in the description below. I'm actually planning on getting my wife lessons. So you'd help my wife out getting her lessons, trying to get her into the game as well. Really quickly, though, I just want to give you a little bit of backstory. I started playing golf when I was 13. Clearly, I'm older than 13 now, but I never really got lessons until a couple of years ago. And when you don't get lessons, it's just like, it's such a, there's so many factors to golf, and it may be like the slightest way you're holding the club or like you're dipping a shoulder, you're doing this or that. And it's almost impossible to like self-analyze. And then I've made the mistake of going down YouTube wormholes where it just makes everything worse with lessons on YouTube. So I started getting lessons, and I started out at this local golf dome, and this guy, they used TrackMan there, and I liked that quite a bit. I would say if you're watching this video, you probably prefer to watch things in video format over blogs. It's just the way you're wired, right? Like my wife doesn't even like watching videos. She prefers to read something. So in your case, you're maybe visual like I am. So no matter what route you go, I'd recommend you go somewhere where they're actually going to be able to show you your swing on a screen after the fact. Now, I mentioned that because I did like those lessons and being able to see myself on the screen, but what I found was they weren't like deconstructing my swing. If you're somebody like me with a higher handicap, I'm 19.2, which is actually pretty low for me. I didn't need somebody to sit there and just give me a couple swing thoughts and a couple tweaks to my swing. What I needed was somebody to actually deconstruct my swing and rebuild it. And that's what I found is really helpful for Golftec. I did have a coach who was recommended to me by a buddy who's like a 5 handicap. That is part of the reason that I want to get lessons is, I want to get better, but I want to stop feeling like a jackass on the course from all my friends that are good golfers. My buddy recommended this guy, and like I felt like he was a good solution for somebody who maybe is trying to go from a 5 to a 2, right? Because he'll say something like very small, like, oh, you're putting a little too much weight on your back foot or front foot, or you need to drop the hand slightly here. These little tiny tweaks. But again, for somebody who's a higher handicap like me, I needed to deconstruct the swing. So what you can see here is you can actually see all of my lessons on the screen. You can see some of them are 30 minutes, some are 60 minutes. The last one I did was 60. And some of the issues I have, you can actually just see right in those thumbnails is like a very shallow backswing where the club is like almost parallel to the ground. I also have these issues where I don't bring the, I'll see if I can actually just show it to you. This is actually a better swing here. This is a more recent one. But what you can see here is the butt of the club on the right there when you're looking at the right on. And then my club tends to trail away from me, but that's something that I've been able to improve because of Golftec. What Golftec does is they break your swing down, and I believe it's down to 5 sections. It's like P1, P2, P3, P4, P5. And then what they do is just like the first one is just simply what you're seeing on the screen right there, whereas just the club right to that position is P1. And just in that first position, I found 2 things that I really needed to work on. What I was doing was I was opening up the club a ton. So the club face, instead of looking vertical up, it was like opening to like 3 o'clock immediately. And the club was going away from my body. So we spent like an entire lesson just working on that and trying to improve that. What you'll find is by breaking the swing down into sections, I think it's a lot easier for somebody who's a high handicapper because you may need to just actually have a new swing, which is painful, I know. So I wanted to make mention of this with the purchase history. You can see this was $1,400. I told you I have a problem. It's 6-month in-bay practice. So quantity, it says 15 lesson pack, 913, etc. 150 for a club fitting. So the 15 lesson pack there, what that is it's 15 30-minute lessons. And then the 6-month in-bay practice, basically like I can jump into a bay and be able to practice without the coach as well. What I'll say is that you may want to just take some time to look at the packages and see what works for you. Part of me is like, I understand why they do this in these like 6-month kind of commitments, but it's also a little bit tougher because it's a commitment, right? But all I'll say for Golftec is if you take a look at my GIN. So before Golftec, you can see on August 14th, I shot 112, and I started lessons on the 23rd of August. And what ended up happening was right towards the end of the season, because I'm in the Northeast, on October 26th, I shot an 88. I'll be honest, I was pretty freaking pumped that I shot an 88. So again, I've been playing at this course for a year and a half, so I at least have a good enough idea of my game, and I've taken lessons from other people while doing that. But just within a couple of months, my lowest previous score there was a 92, and I dropped it by 4 strokes. I think one of the other things that was helpful for me that a lot of people always overlook, obviously, with golf is the short game. They actually do putting lessons there as well. So I got a putting lesson. One of the things that I misunderstood was I thought I needed to pull the putter straight back, and you can actually put it on a slight curve. And once I started doing that and making everything a little more compact and steady, my putting got better as well. Now, I have a lot of work to go. What I will say is this is the 3rd different option I've tried for golf lessons, and I personally have found it the best. One of the things I really like too is, again, go to the Golftec app here, is if I want to schedule a lesson, it's super, super simple. I can just go to home, book now. If I want a full swing lesson, I can pick 30 or 60 minutes, 30, and I can look at a calendar, and next week, Thursday, I can book an appointment right there. It's super easy. If I want to just go into a practice session, this is also nice too. I could pick 30 minutes. Of course, this is going to be a little more available because it doesn't depend on a coach. But the nice thing about the practice bays is the cameras that they have give you a ton of data on your swing. But what you'll start to learn is the data actually syncs with the P1, P2, P3 type information. What I was doing in my swing was I was opening my shoulders and hips so far, but it actually showed me like, hey, you're opening up 104 degrees. A tour professional opens up 90. Why would I think I need to open up my body more than a tour professional? I don't. So once I get that feedback and I can see that information quickly, I'm like, okay, got it. My swing will only get better when I actually shorten up my stroke. So I'm like overswinging at the top. I'm opening my shoulders too much. I'm opening up my hips too much. It's just a recurring theme of like too much with my swing, and that's what I'm trying to dial in. So thank you for watching the video. Again, thank you for using my referral link and enjoy that extra $100 towards free credits for your Golftec. I think you'll be really happy with it. As long as you don't mind them really breaking down your swing piece by piece, which I appreciated, but everybody's different. But good luck improving your golf game, and I hope you enjoy the experience.